2, 1, and we live. What's going on, TentHut? And today we got Jose in the house. He is back from his, I'm gonna say it,
Yeah,
honeymoon.
from my honeymoon.
It's
Yeah,
haunted honeymoon.
haunted
Haunted
honeymoon.
honeymoon.
Was it?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna chill you honest real quick. So, my wife and I went on a haunted honeymoon, and this is one of the best pictures I took. I got video and stuff, but so we went on a tour on the Stanley Hotel, and it was like a night tour. Anyways, one of the best pictures I got, and I know that I didn't see this figure in the middle of the picture, but if you see, there's there's
There you
other
go. There you go.
picture, but that thing right there was not there when I took the picture.
By the stairs, yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Anyways, we did a haunted honeymoon. We stopped at different hotels that were supposedly haunted, but I enjoyed it. We stopped first. We did Jerome, Arizona. Then we went to the St. James Hotel. And it was like all Western towns. It was really cool, man. Maybe at another podcast I'll tell you guys all about it. But it was really cool.
No, that's awesome. I know you went to the. Did you mention the Shining?
Yeah, the Stanley Hotel. It was
Yeah,
the original hotel that Stephen King stayed at, and he got the inspiration for the book, The Shining, and then ultimately the movie with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I know that.
Johnny.
I know the new movie came out. Not new, but just recently came out. But it came out like.
Dr. Sleep.
It was Red Rum, right?
No. It was Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep?
Yeah, Dr. Sleep. But it was based on that. It was like the sequel to it when the kid that if you guys have seen The Shining, the kid that's like drooling saying Red Rum.
Yeah.
He grows up and that movie is particularly about him.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
That is cool, man. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful hotel, man. It's like beautiful architecture. It's just the entire landscape for the hotel is beautiful. It's really nice. And then the city itself, it's really cool too. There's a bunch of bars that you can go to, and it's cool. Talking about bars, we also got my wife and I got a whiskey from out there, Alkins Distillery over in Colorado. That's what we're drinking today. Shout out to Alkins. So
as you guys know, we make the show a TentHut Show with a side of whiskey. We all like whiskey. Some of us like bourbon. So we're hoping that somebody keeps eyes on this, and then
send it to Elkins.
Yeah,
because my wife and I stopped by there, and it was really, really good.
I'm gonna put it real quick. So, Carlos, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And spread the word of TentHut. I appreciate it so much, man.
Thank you. Thanks.
And try this whiskey, Elkins whiskey.
Yeah. Actually, what show is it? Is it like moonshine?
It's moonshine. It didn't stay in the barrel long enough.
So what are we talking about today, man? What do you got for us? What do you think we should talk about?
Well, let's definitely talk about finance. I mean, I know that's something that and I don't know, it's a big topic. Let's try to keep it short.
It's one of the uncomfortable topics for everybody. It seems to be like especially during these times where unfortunately a lot of people are losing their jobs, companies are going under. They just can't seem to stay open.
Right.
It's hard to talk about saving when you're struggling to make ends meet or working check to check. So it gets just Sal. Of course, Sal gonna have to throw that out there.
Of course, he's a Navy cat.
But here's what I've looked at, and I've already said many times that the resources are there to help out veterans to be successful. You, Pedro, I know you've been working finance for a long time, and you really, really know how to navigate that system. And it's a very complex system, right?
Right.
But the big problem that we have is that service members join the military straight out of high school on average, right? I think the Army has the average of 19 years old is the average for the Army. The Air Force is a little bit higher, 21 years old is the average in the Air Force. And then Navy, I think, is 20. And
The Marines is what, like 5?
15.
crayon.
Oh, yeah, 5 crayon eating motherfucker.
Yeah. So, and I think the problem is that we have such a broken education system. I really think it's the education system. You go to high school and they don't teach you taxes. They don't teach you how to buy a car, how to rent, or lease agreement for an apartment.
Yeah, I completely agree that it, as you're going into the military, you're already at several steps behind the curve as far as finance, and then you're put into this job that that
high speed, man, and all they want you to do is work. They're not teaching you how to budget your money.
No, and every Joe is living paycheck to paycheck. Every 31st or every 30th, you're getting paid. And within the first 2 weeks, it's gone, dude. It's either gone on liquor or you're going out and buying some new shit.
Something dumb.
So, so that's the thing, right? Like, think about it, right? You're working your ass off. You go on the field, by weeks, even a month. And then you come back and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to start throwing money out there, right?
Splurge.
Because you want to splurge. And it happens. But again, no one is teaching us
financial literacy.
Financial literacy and the discipline about money, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's discipline on how to maintain soldiering and airmen, Marines, whatever. But the discipline is money. That's the
So to explain it, I mean, the breakdown for DOD, and a lot of people don't get this. So we get paid pay, right, or base pay.
Yeah.
And that's based on your rank. Then you get paid, or an allowance, because it's not taxable. You get paid housing, right? Housing is specifically non-taxable, so it doesn't count towards your income. Then you get BAS, right, for supplemental allowance. That's not taxable. It's about $300 a month or something like that, right?
Yeah.
For food, for your food. Your uniforms are paid for. You get your medical insurance is covered. You got 100% medical insurance, and now it's time to get out. You have no clue how to do taxes. You have no clue how to purchase a medical insurance, because there's so many different HMOs, PPOs, all that stuff, and you're counting your chickens on what you're going to be getting paid based on all this experience that you think you have.
Right.
And then you end up broke because you can't make ends meet. So
you got to manage your money.
One of the things that I experienced myself when I started, right, as a private, I maxed out that AFES card. Remember
the star card?
The star card. Star card. I call it AFES. AFES, and just maxed it out there.
Dude, I had a star card. I think mine was like $6,000. I think it was all maxed out, dude. Yeah. All maxed out. Every time I needed uniforms, instead of waiting to get my uniform pay, I would just go buy it on my AFES card.
Yeah. And then when you got your uniform, when you got your pay for your uniform, you didn't stick it back into the AFES card.
No, you go blow it on freaking.
Blow it out in somewhere else.
Booze on some 30-pack and a bunch of booze. Yeah, pretty bad, dude. It's true.
Especially when you're overseas, like I started on Korea, then all we did was just go out on the weekends and smash. Yeah, but I mean, so we know where the problem is, where the problem lies, and it's the lack of education. Whether it's prior to going into the military, while you're in the military from your NCOs, and and somebody just mentioned becoming an entrepreneur.
But that's not easy. That's not easy, and that takes a lot of discipline to do.
But there's certain investments that you can go get into while you're in the military, and it's minimal investments. And we started doing it. Yeah. The pocket change investments, where it's just minimal penny stocks or something like that, or even getting into real estate, but not actually buying the property, but you're getting into basically like a pool of money where people are just pulling in money so that a big company would buy a real estate and then you have a portion of it. So there's other things that you can do to maneuver your money so that it works for you.
Well, tell us, Pedro, about what your knowledge is on this stuff.
Well, first is like you mentioned, the school system doesn't teach anything about financial literacy. It doesn't teach about how to make more money beyond the job that you're going to get, right? And so that's a no-go. And you're looking now, like a lot of students not in the military, a lot of students are in debt. There's more than $1 trillion deficit on debt, right?
School loans.
Yeah. So, so that's an indication. Facts are facts, right? So for individuals that are in the military, you got to start, as far as a leader, like leadership, right? You got to make sure and do it for yourself too. Look at the long term. You don't know if you're going to continue, you're going to re-enlist. You don't know, you never know what can happen.
Get injured, dude. You get injured and you're done, man. We don't plan that. We don't plan to go to war and not, come back full. We plan to go and, do our job and come back and continue 30 years, 20 years, 30 years, retire. But that just doesn't always pan out.
Right.
Life is life, things happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, you got to start looking at different vehicles that are going to help you, create income in the future. And it could be, 10, 15, years down the road. You got to think long term, right? There's a long term, money, which is you can make it through mutual funds, or you have your TSP if you're in the military, or you can open your own IRA. It could be there's different types. If you want to get into real estate, you open a self-directed IRA where your actual investment is going to be held by that account, and then you can reap on the tax benefits. And I don't want to go into details and everything, but at least kind of give you a gist of it.
Because legally you can't.
You can't. Yeah, I can, of course. Yeah. But then, the other thing is life insurance. Make sure you're protected. If you have a family, loved one, you want to make sure is that they are protected in amount besides what the money you get or the coverage that you get from the military.
The crazy part is that life insurance is actually very affordable, and a lot of people don't realize that. A bottle of whiskey, think about a bottle of whiskey, $20, $25, depends. That will get you a decent amount of life insurance. And a lot of people don't put into that perspective to think like, well, I can go without a bottle, or I could go without, the one meal, one lunch is expensive right now out in the streets. And you can do without one thing to pay for life insurance to make sure you set up your family, But I think that's where a lot of people lack.
It also counts on what type of life insurance that you're getting. It's especially if you're getting into investments and you have a large amount of 401k, you have a lot of money in your 401k, and you're worried about getting taxed. One way of skirting that particular tax as you're withdrawing money from your 401k is overfunding your index life insurance.
Yeah.
You start overfunding it, and then once you reach an age of retirement, you start borrowing from that index, and it's taxed because you're actually borrowing from your life insurance.
Cash, which is a cash value.
Yeah, cash value, but you're not being taxed.
Yeah.
But since you're moving it from one investment account into an index investment account, which is considered another investment account, it's non-taxable.
Right.
So that's one way of skirting that particular.
And when it comes to life insurance, make sure you get it at a young age. As soon as you join the military, just get extra life insurance besides what you get in the military.
SGLI.
Right. That's GLI. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to have enough money especially if you come from a family that doesn't have enough money. Majority of us who joined the military really didn't have wealthy families, right? Like I don't, right?
No, yeah.
And you want to make sure that your kids or your family or whoever, your nieces, your nephews,
are set for life.
Exactly. Yeah. So you got to have that in mind. So anyways, you got your foundation, right, which is your insurance, and then Jose will touch a little bit more about the car insurance and everything. So how to look into things, because that was his AO, and then from there the next step is actually looking into types of investments. You want to go into mutual funds and who to go to. You know, want to invest in ETFs. You know, what companies you go to. I always say the best ones is Ameritrade, or you're going to go to Charles Schwab if you have enough money to make that money work for you.
Yeah.
You know, and so those are, and right now, like if you don't have enough money, if you have $100, you can start with an investment with Betterment. Is a robo advisors, and you put your money in there. You tell them exactly what you want to do, how much money you want to have in the future, and then it kind of gives you, like, they use the AI, the artificial intelligence, and say,
yeah,
this is how much you can retire with if you put X amount of money every month.
Yeah.
Well, I think that. Well, I don't want to say that we're jumping the gun, but we're definitely jumping several steps.
Yeah.
No, and to focus on the individuals that are either, you know, the military service members that are still in, save your money, man.
Yeah. Save that one night of going out.
Yeah.
Cancel that one night and just put it away. Put it away.
One thing for sure.
What I was mentioning, you're not certain tomorrow. You're not. No one is giving you a certainty of tomorrow.
No.
So if you're still in the military tomorrow, be grateful and still save that tomorrow, because the next day after that, you might not have what you had today. So.
And people always think like, well, if I get injured, I'm gonna get disability from the VA. That stuff doesn't just come. It doesn't just happen. We've talked about this. You know, my boy got his whole jaw blown out, and he got 40% because it's only his jaw.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, and I've seen some paper pushers that have 100% for a paper cut. I don't know.
Get out of here.
I don't know, but and I'm not bagging on the veterans that have 100% and they were posed. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to fight for that. If you want that 100%, you have to fight for it, and it just doesn't come.
Happy Hey, somebody just shout out Happy Veterans Day. It was Veterans Day yesterday. We definitely
Happy Veterans Day.
Cheers. All the veterans.
One thing that I want to say, if you're overseas, do not get caught up with that buying a car.
Oh, dude, that's my first.
Hey, you know what? I tell everybody, like, you don't even understand how bad is it. Like, right outside of every military base, there's two things that are guaranteed to be there: a cheap little parking lot car dealership and a check cashing place, like payday loan.
Oh, I thought you were going to say strip club and bar, dude.
No, that's further down the road, but they're usually around there. But first thing right out the gate is going to be that 30% interest rate for that badass Mustang, right? And you always wanted this car. They know it, so they're going to sell it to you. They're going to finance you. E1 approved. That's everywhere. E1 approved. That's what it always says. E1 approved, bro. They have that sign outside, and then there's check cashing places that give the payday loans. They'll hit you up, and I think they made it illegal now for them to give payday loans to military service members. But shit, when you get out, when you're out, you're free game, man. They'll take advantage of you at 400% interest rate. You know, you'll never pay that stuff off unless you pay it off like your next pay period. You know,
and the cars that you get, they're like shitty too.
Oh yeah.
So be careful where you buy a car.
I got a shout out to my boy Daniel because he has this G35, and he told me he paid like 30% interest. It was $10,000, and it took him forever to pay that thing off. He said, I can't get rid of this car because I invested so much money into this thing. You know, I don't even know. I think he still has it, but I'll tag him later on this. He's actually doing really well now. You know, lessons learned. It's a hard lesson to learn that, you know, people are gonna take advantage. You know, and this is what I always say with your financials. You are guaranteed cash. All these trade schools and all these colleges, they'll sell you whatever the hell you want. If you want to go do a liberal arts degree that we talked about last segment, they'll sell it to you because you are guaranteed cash. You have the golden ticket. They
Right.
want you to come and take, and they want to take your money. That's what you're a gold nugget, and they're coming to get it. You
Yeah, that's
know,
why they started cracking down on a lot of these predatory schools, like
they're all like that, dude.
DeVry or some.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
USC. I love USC. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna dog too much on USC. I'm a Trojan myself, right? You see my little gnome over here. Um, but they're all looking for your money because you are guaranteed funding. There's
Yeah.
no ifs, ands, or about it. You're guaranteed funding. That's why they create special programs for you. Like USC, for instance, has uh the VB the it's an MBA for veterans.
The VBA. That's something
VBA,
like Veterans
Veterans
Business.
Business Administration.
You know, I'll dog on.
VMBA,
Oh, okay.
Veterans
I don't remember. I know. I just don't remember.
Administration. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
I'll dog
they're
on-
targeting, man. They know that you have the money. You know.
That tells you a lot, man. Just because how they were able to tailor that program.
No,
for
but
that
Think
only.
about it. Think about it.
Going back a little bit. So chapter 31 does one thing right. I mean, it's extremely difficult to get chapter 31, which is vocational rehabilitation.
Yeah.
But I love the way that they approach what you want to do
Yeah.
with your career.
Because they won't approve. But that's the thing. They won't approve any degree or just anything. It's got to match you and you have to have a career plan. We talked about this last week.
But that's exactly when
But the GI Bill is not that way.
He gets a veteran application. That I believe that's exactly what they should do. What do you want to do with this liberal arts degree?
Yeah.
Do you plan? What is it that you?
GI
plan?
Bill doesn't care. GI Bill does not care.
Yeah, they don't care, man. It's just.
But
GI
it should
Bill,
be a requirement. They require a net plan. When you're doing it, they require you to do a net plan. Why can't they do a justification for that particular degree? They should do that. I'm just saying.
It's up to the veteran, man. They leave it all up to the veteran. I mean, if the veteran wants to go and do basket weaving, they'll give it to you. They'll pay for it, whatever. But the problem is,
that's a waste of money, not only on the veteran, but it's also a waste of money on the taxpayers' pocket.
So let's
it comes from the tax.
Let's take it back to as far as finance, right? So financial stuff. It's important to budget, keep a budget yourself, have an Excel sheet. I know a lot of people don't like it, but you just have to. There's apps. You have Mint. You have every other apps out there. Some of them you pay for, some of you don't. But at least keep accountability of your own stuff.
I keep
accountability of your military equipment.
You have to be reasonable accountability, because a lot of us would be like, "Oh yeah, I can live off spending $10 and I'll save the rest." Like, be reasonable
and look for. And if you have expenses, right, like a cell phone or any other things, because if you live in the barracks, you don't really have to pay rent, none of that stuff, right?
You don't have to pay food, you don't have to pay rent,
none of that stuff, right? But if you're paying a cell phone, like look for
the discounts.
It gives you freaking discounts for being in the military. Keep that in mind, and be careful with your credit card. Yeah. Be very careful with your credit card.
Now, and you know what? And we were talking about car insurance. I'm not a loyal person to a car insurance company.
No, don't be.
I'm not. I will search every single year for a new quote on my car insurance, and because Geico's supposed to be the military, right? Geico stands for Government Insurance Employee Company or something like that, right? Because it was built for service members.
Yeah, it was a USAA of like the 90s.
Yes, no, way before that, like in the 30s, man.
No.
Geico's been around forever.
Yeah, but
when it started,
it was for times.
Yeah, when Geico started, it was for military members or government employees.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Geico's got the best rate. For me, they couldn't hack it, but I'm shopping around every single year because I don't maintain loyalty to these companies. They're making billions of dollars off.
So I'll tell you a little. I don't know if it's a little bit of a secret, but so all insurance companies are dictated and mandated by one insurance agency, the California Insurance Agency. It's ran by a commissioner. and they determine what their rate hike is every year. Every year they determine, because they'll take a look at how many accidents this particular company had, how many losses they've gone through that particular year, and they'll tell them, okay, this year you have to go and increase your policies, your premiums by 30%, 15%, whatever it is. And it isn't ultimately the client's fault, because if you have no accidents and you're like, oh, why did my insurance premium go up? It's because of other people's faults on that particular company.
And what's going on in your area, because it definitely goes by your zip code, your area, where you live. If there's a lot of car theft, your insurance is going to go up. If there's a lot of people that are not insured, that's a huge one. If there's a lot of accidents around your area with non-insured motorists, your insurance goes up, because now the company sees it as you're a higher risk of somebody hitting you, or you hitting somebody that doesn't have insurance, and they got to cover 100% of the cost.
Yeah, so I completely agree that do not be loyal to one particular company.
No,
because you get a rate hike, and next year, freaking Allstate might not get a rate hike, and they're cheaper than next year.
So since you've been in the insurance and that type of insurance business, what is the best, I guess you can say, quarter to go and look for, any
Google, bro.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like,
hit up the quotes.
I don't know if you could say it's quarterly, but it is annually. Their fiscal year ends like any other fiscal year, government fiscal year. They get their rate hacks around the end of the year. So
September time period.
Yeah, towards I think it's September, October time frame. They get their rate hacks, and they have to implement them by the end of the year. So they'll be sending out letters like, hey, your rate's going to increase next policy period, because they can't do it within that policy period. So next policy period that we're going to increase your rate. So the best way to do it is probably at the beginning of the year. That's when you've already know what that rate hike is, or how much each company has to increase their rate. So getting a new policy at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year would be probably the best.
Right. Yeah.
Same thing with mortgage insurance or your property insurance. It's same thing. You need to be looking for who's got the best rates. I mean, I know some people are like, no, I want to stay loyal. Then they're gonna drop they don't drop your rate. They'll drop it, and then they'll raise it right back up. They don't. They're not worried.
They'll caress you for a little bit, right? And
then,
and then after that,
then they'll yank it back. Like, oh, look, you got a great rate this year, yay! And then like they'll yank it back. All right, here's a increase, but we gave you a drop rate last year, so
you also gotta be careful on how they present. So if you're looking for a quote, you have to be careful on how they present that quote, because they'll tell you one price, and then when your policy, like when you add it all up, because they'll break it down like 6 months or something, and you add it all up, and you're like, that's not the rate you gave me. Well, that's because they're attaching fees that they didn't tell you. So you gotta ask them, what is my 6-month policy? How much are you going to break it down? And if I add it up, is it still the same price that you just gave me?
Yeah.
Or they added fees for having a full policy.
Yeah.
Or paying it in payments. One of the things that I started doing actually was making my policy an annual policy versus a 6-month policy, because it actually reduced my price. Yeah. And what's crazy is that if you can cancel a policy at any time and you don't owe extra money, you pay what you're getting, what you're using. That's it. And a lot of people are like scared to get a year.
Tells you that they're going to, then we're going to have to charge you a cancellation fee. No, it's illegal.
There's no such thing. It is illegal.
No such thing.
Yeah. So you
can't shop around at any time. So if you do get an annual rate, stick with that annual rate and still shop around. Doesn't you?
Yeah, of course.
No, there's nothing wrong with you shopping around ever. And that's what I always tell people. It's like look at ways that you can conserve money. there's a lot of companies giving out, the military discounts, the veteran discounts, and they really help out, a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. You can use that money. Think of all the money you're saving and invest it into, what we were talking about earlier, which makes it, that you're securing your future, that boat plan.
Yeah, especially if you're in the military, you just got there, your private E1 going to E2, or you get your E3, just keep in mind, keep your expenses low. Don't go into buying something and you got to take a loan out. Don't get peer pressured by anyone. If you got to buy like a crappy car, cost you $1,000, $1,500, get that. But don't just trying to get a nice car just to impress people, because you know what? As you progress in your rank, you're going to have more money. You're going to be able to do all these other things that you want, strategically, right?
Look, something that happened to me was that I racked up about 25 grand of credit card. And it's common for service members. I actually heard that I was at the Family Readiness Center. I said, do you get a lot? They're like, nah, we have this problem with colonels that rack up $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 of credit cards, and then they don't know how to pay it. So here's the big thing for me: debt consolidation loans will ruin your credit. They will, because what do they make you do? They pay off all your debt, right? But now you just got this lump sum loan, and they make you cancel your credit cards, which automatically ruins your credit. Mm-hmm. And it will come back up. It'll come back up. But it's going to take a very long time. We're talking about, say you get a loan for 3 years. It's going to take you 5 years to get back to a point where you actually have credit, which can hurt you if you're shopping around for a car, trying to buy a house, trying to buy some investment, especially buying a house. So be careful with debt consolidation. I get it. Sometimes they have like a 12-month, that if you want to really crunch it down and pay off some stuff, if anything, invest in property. Real estate property is always the way to go. You just got to hold on to it. Even when the market crashes, you got to hold on to it.
One thing I want to say about credit cards, because you're talking about debt consolidation and credit cards came in mind. Yeah. Is that when you're going to get into a credit card, let's say if you don't have good credit, you're starting out, the way I did it is
you got to keep it 33%, 33% or lower.
Paying it, make sure you don't freaking max it out. And then start shopping around for different types of credit cards. So let's say if you travel, whatever they have, cashbacks, and then you start earning these points. Because I have a couple friends that actually now
I'm about to go to Cancun for free, bro. For free.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's what I'm saying.
You got to pay the taxes. So my flight is $80 instead of 600 and whatever. Because
that's what I'm saying. And I take advantage of it. Yeah. So instead of getting caught up with that whole I'm gonna buy, and later on don't know how to figure it out. Use that kind of debt to your advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So in summary, I guess, for particular in the credit card sector, debt isn't bad.
Right.
No.
If you're trying to build a good credit score, having credit cards isn't a bad thing.
No.
Having a long history on your credit cards is an even better thing.
Yeah.
Just don't max it out all the time.
Yeah.
Because maxing it out is a bad thing.
Yeah. So the way I got out when I was in the service, the way I got out of credit card debt is I stopped eating out, like everywhere, So I was eating very conservative, even at home.
Don't lie, bro. You was eating trees, yeah.
No, I mean, some days cup of noodles and all this stuff. So you have to tighten up. So the way I did it, and I hope a lot of service members are listening to this. 1 month I would crunch down and just focus a lot on the eating out and spending on all kinds of stuff, and then the next month I would kind of lax a little bit, and then for a couple months did that about for 6 months and was able to get out of about $25,000 of debt for me.
Eating out is expensive, dude. Like literally, you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But if you consistently go on a Subway,
I don't know. If
You go to Subway and you get the 12 inch, and you save one. You eat the 6 inch
the next
at
day.
lunch, and then at dinner you eat the other half. But and so and there's a lot of ways, of course, using coupons, using all that stuff. The big thing is a lot of people want to pay the credit card with the highest money or the highest balance.
Hold on.
yeah.
So
You need to pay off the smaller ones first with the highest interest rates, and then revolve and start hitting the harder ones.
That's
But pay the minimum on all of them.
From Robert
No, Dave Ramsey.
No.
Dave Ramsey talks about. Well, I know Dave Ramsey talks about stuff. I'm pretty sure Robert talks about.
The big thing is pay off the minimum on all your credit cards, right? You have to do that because if not, you're gonna ruin your credit. You can't be late on payments. So pay off all the minimums and then pay off a bigger chunk of the smaller credit cards, and then move on to the bigger and bigger and bigger, and try to focus on the big interest rate credit cards.
When you're done, it isn't that. So you paid off the minimum balance, or that you paid off the smallest debt that you had. It isn't that, oh, now I have this free money that I can spend on
Nah.
That free money is going to move to
it moves up to the next credit card or the next debt.
Yeah.
So that you're paying bigger chunks of this, and then it just increases.
Yeah.
But don't. And here's the other thing. So you pay off a credit card, don't go use it.
Don't
go use
I know
it.
a lot of people do it.
And don't throw it away or close it.
Yeah, don't cut.
You know what? I want to kind of take that back a little bit. When you paying off these credit cards, pay it off to 30%. If it's maxed out, pay it down to 30%. Because if you pay it all the way off, that looks bad too, because it looks like you're trying to do something with it, right? So what you want to do is you want to pay it down to 30% and then move on to the next one, pay it down to 30%, move on to the next one, keep going, and then start paying it down to 0, 0, 0 all the way through, and that will increase your credit score a lot. But debt consolidation will ruin your credit score.
So
I promise.
Talking about 33%, right? This is really important if you're looking to buy a house.
Yes.
Because when I purchased my house, I make sure that my credit card was not at 0. It was at 33%, like you mentioned, because 30%. They want to see that you actually being active. They want to see that you pay
credit.
And you have that
revolving credit.
Revolving credit, yeah. And that's the credit cards. I want to transition into the whole buying and purchase house, and we can talk about this because I know Will, you have a house too. And the thing is, if you're gonna buy a house, do not go buy a car. Do not go open a credit card. Do not move money around accounts, because then lenders, they're gonna look at it as wait, what's going on here?
When you're buying too much, you're buying a lot of stuff all at once.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you about to croak? Are you about to die on us and leave us with all this shit? No, so buying a house right now for veterans, you can buy a house with 0. I mean, literally nothing down. Last year apparently there was a drop of the blue water something where that President Trump dropped, and you have 0 limits, meaning you can buy a house as long as the bank approves it based on your credit and your income and all that stuff. You can buy a house. There's no max.
There's no max.
There used to be a county limit, right? Which was like here in Orange County where I live, it's like 735. If I went CalVet, I can max out at like 850 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money, but here in California, homes are really expensive, right?
Yeah.
So that max is gone. You can buy a $1 million home right now as long as you have the capital, the money to.
As long as the income shows that you can support. Yeah. That's what I tell people.
Back in the day, you would have to go by the county limit, and then if you whatever else, so say the county limit was 800,000, right? Let's just make it a solid number. You wanted to buy $1 million home, so that 200,000 you would pay 20% of that 200,000 instead of 0 down. So you can get that jumbo loan through CalVet or insured through the VA. But buying property is a great thing if you just stick with it. Don't sell your property.
Especially if you're single, right? Like or you have no kids. You have no kids. Take advantage. That's what I'm saying. Take advantage because
Yeah.
like you can actually rent out other rooms while you're there, right? And then after
If that's your thing, I'm not.
I'm saying there's a group out there. It's called the Active Duty Passive Income guys. These guys are teaching on how to use your VA loan, and you live there, and then you get people to rent out if you have extra rooms.
Yeah,
I don't like
it. That's the VRR method. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like
its own headaches. And if you want to do something like that, you make sure that you vet people properly.
Oh yeah, that's
because a lot of us vets are high strung about certain things. I know that I am going through my own OCD and stuff like that. Like I tried it, and
I can't have roommates. I'll tell you that right now. I can't have roommates.
Oh, dude, he lasted 2 weeks, and then I kicked him out, and then he called the cops.
Now you just made and guess what, Jose? You made a veteran homeless. Great job.
No. I can tell you that.
I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, no, he wasn't. He was not. But I tried to live with people, dude. I
civilian homeless now.
Really homeless.
No, but you know what? It's kind of hard. But this is what I always say: is look at how much you're making. How much can you afford?
Yeah.
When you go and find a realtor, look at what you can purchase on your own. Don't sit there and say, well, I'm gonna rent out a room, because now you're counting your chickens before they hatch, right? And we've heard that terminology, and a lot of veterans do that. And that's I can't afford this car right now, but I'm about to get a pay raise. But what if that pay raise never comes? Or that person never comes and lives with me.
Or don't project that you're gonna make money.
Yeah, never.
Just keep what you have, whatever the number coming in.
Yeah, that's
why the idiom comes: "Don't count your chickens before they hatch."
No, but some people don't understand it.
You don't get that.
Seriously.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
go watch another YouTube channel.
Go watch another YouTube channel.
You don't get that.
And a lot of us veterans do that. We project what we're gonna be making. I'm about to sew on E5 or I'm about to sew on E6, and I'm already counting that money before it even hatches.
I've actually where they've already passed the boards. They're gonna get their E5. They go celebrate at the local bar. They get
some dude in the fucking face of the bottom.
The next day.
Yeah.
They
get demoted. And they get demoted. They lose their freaking stripe and get demoted. Now they're behind.
45.
So don't, and I tell them, tell everybody all the time. It's not only veterans. Don't live above your means. You need to make your math, and you were talking about it earlier. You need to get that Excel spreadsheet, and you need to calculate. I pay this and this. My gas bill. I always do the average of my gas. I actually look at my electric bill and what is the highest that I have paid throughout the year, right?
And round up.
And then round up 10%. Just I left the AC on all day for some reason that one day. I don't know. And then calculate that as my monthly. My gas bill, same thing, round up. My water bill, same thing, round up. And my mortgage, your mortgage is pretty set, but you always want to calculate that your taxes might go up, because it's property taxes, and depending on county or whatever happens, escrow account maybe is low or high or whatever.
You should always pay more than what your mortgage, so that it goes to the principal.
I do want to say that if you're 100%, not in I'm not talking about California, but at least in Texas.
Yeah. You don't pay property taxes.
Property tax at all.
You don't pay property taxes at 100%. Actually, it's even it's even better because after 70%. So in Texas, after 70%, you don't pay all your property taxes. At 100%, you don't pay any property taxes. So, like, I had a mansion over there in a really nice neighborhood I'm paying like $1,000 a month for mortgage for a brand new home. So. Because of property taxes, property taxes are higher out there. But if you're not paying any property tax, and you're just paying your mortgage. That's it. But California deducts $189,000 if you're 100%. I think that's
and if you make less than 50
of your value of the value of your home. Yeah,
the value of the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you like make less than the low income status, then there's
200. It's like 202 right now. You're here in Orange County.
Yeah.
So look at all these programs. You know, there's programs out there for all this stuff. You know, try to save as much as you can. Property taxes. You know, you got to pay your taxes.
Yeah, you don't own the land.
But yeah, but
yeah,
I
so
mean,
you just want to say something. You got to maintain discipline with this, right? If you have discipline and keep an accountability of your own equipment, and as for leaders,
So yeah, some
for
of it.
leaders, right? Because they have accountability, whatever company you're in, you got to keep accountability of your own money.
make your money work for you. You know, that's the big thing, and a lot of people.
There's no one, and that's one of the biggest problems that I've encountered with many veterans, including myself when I got out of the military, is that shit, what I'm going to do with money now.
Yeah.
Money is at least for me, it was a problem for me. Like, damn, I don't have a check coming in. Now what?
Yeah, for the longest time, like even it's coming out of the military, you start living paycheck to paycheck. That's not the way to live. If you don't have some sort of emergency fund when something happens, a car breaks down or something, and you find yourself stressed out because you can't pay a $500 bill on a car repair, then you're doing something wrong. And you got to refocus and just,
here's something that we're about to encounter, right? What's coming up here next year? Tax season, right?
Mm.
What are we going to do? Counter chickens. Yeah. And like,
seriously.
Like, I mean, I see it all the time. People, I used to do it myself. Tax season's coming up. I have these many kids or whatever it is, my deductions and all this stuff. And last year I got this much, so I expect to have that much. And you're already buying furniture. You're buying a brand new car before you even get the money.
A good idea, dude. Next segment, or in the next couple of segments, we should bring in a tax expert, because it's going to be interesting. The next tax season, it's going to be so fucking interesting, dude, that people are going to be able to deduct their home office because everyone's been working from home. It's just going to get so complicated that you're going to see deductions everywhere that a lot of people are going to be able to, or they're going to be missing. Yeah, that they should be counting for.
And for like Sal, that he owns his own business, that right there, you need to really look at depreciation and value of your equipment, your property, all that stuff. You need to really focus on it, and to be able to collect as much, or do as. I mean, everybody talks crap about the president, his taxation stuff. But everybody in this nation is not trying to overpay in taxes, and you're always looking for them deductions, and that's just the thing that we're not. I don't want to pay more. I want to pay less.
That's actually a good like not segue, but it's a good comment, because a lot of people complain about paying taxes, but they also complain about how
not having enough
the wealthy pay the little bit of taxes. Like, no, if you had the opportunity of legally skirting taxes, you would do it too.
Yeah.
Here's a great example. A lot of people that I know that moved out of California, I'm talking about California, moved to states like Nevada, Arizona, Texas. Like, literally, they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I'm not in California because I'm not paying all these taxes. Like, they're business, right? Like, they're business owners, right?
But that's what I don't get, is that they complain about paying taxes, but then they complain about the other people, not the 1% or whatever it is.
This is why
paying too much tax. Yeah, it's
literally like
blind, bro, blind. The thing is that nobody wants to pay more taxes than they have to. Man. Everybody's looking for the
middle class and the lower middle class and the low class want everyone else to pay more taxes, so that all of the other social programs that we have continue to be funneled to them.
People, let me put it into perspective. People don't realize that a person that makes $1 million of a business or whatever, like whatever they're doing, right? A person that makes $1 million pays about $300,000 in taxes. They don't put that into perspective. They don't think like 300,000. You know how many people collect checks on that? You know?
You know what's even funnier, dude, is that even if they're paying this much, 300,000 in income tax,
Mm-hmm.
but they're providing over 1,000 jobs that those individuals are paying taxes on.
Yeah.
Like,
people don't do the math, dude. They don't do the math to realize how much money is being put out by somebody that makes $1 million. Because on top of them making $1 million and paying 300 to 350,000 a year, right? If it's at 35%, you know, all the jobs that they provided for Americans, you know, that are working for them, that they're paying taxes on. So you're looking, you know, that $1 million, they're pushing about $500,000 out there just in, you know, income tax from their employees and themselves, you know?
And the jobs that they're providing. Because if you were to increase their taxes and they're no longer paying the 300,000 just off their bottom line, and they start increasing to their 500,000, and their employees are, you know,
that's why they say
math doesn't work.
So that's what I'm saying. Now they want to, like, let's say, you know, I don't know what's going on because I really don't follow politics, but I know that I heard that Biden, if he wins, taxes are going to increase on the wealthy. What's going to happen? The wealthy is going to be like, well, I'm just going to increase whatever my services, or I'm going to increase my rent,
or I'm going to go somewhere else.
I'm going to go somewhere else.
Here's what I throw at people all the time. Mayor Garcetti in 2016, right? Los Angeles City Mayor Garcetti. I'm calling you out, sir. He announced that LA City's minimum wage was going to go up to $15 by the year 2021, right?
Yes.
Why did he do that? Why did he do that in 2016? In 2016, I could go to McDonald's in downtown LA and buy a Big Mac meal for $7.75. It is $10.25 to buy a Big Mac meal right now at McDonald's. He did it. He doesn't care about your little baby money. He did it. He did it because, and this is all politicians do this. He announced that because he wanted to make sure that the businesses started increasing the prices of stuff. And you're still paying them $13.25, I think it is right now, right?
Yeah. You know, I think by the end of
so you gotta work a whole hour to go pay for a Big Mac meal. And then you might have $1 or $2 left.
And here's the argument, though. Here's the argument. The argument is, well, all of these low wage jobs isn't sufficient enough for people to live on.
Yeah, but you keep increasing the minimum wage 5 years before you increase it. By the time you get to make a decent amount.
I was gonna touch that point because
but having a McDonald's job, working a cashier register as a McDonald's job wasn't meant to be
full time or
your ideal career, like
your career choice.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a transitional choice to
going to college better. Or finishing college, whatever it is, right? Or waiting for another job to come in.
It's just a stepping job, like I'm some people do have it as a career, but a lot of people that have it as a career kind of live in those means, like that's.
But if you do have it as a career, my suggestion is.
We're out.
Yeah, my suggestion is to go to a vocational school while you're working, and try to get a better job, so that you can get that higher paying job.
McDonald's has their management program, man. It's actually one of the highest ranking management programs in the U.S. It's actually 6 months of whatever. So I can't even knock on.
I think we might get some hate mail because we
it doesn't matter, but we're speaking the truth though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. Like I did tell people, people that live in LA, I don't want to leave LA because I'm all Angelino, and that's the ego that comes in.
Yeah.
Literally, and I speak only in California. Well, at least in the South California Inland Empire. There's a lot of programs that they will pay, the county will pay, the state will pay for you to go into these trade program, jobs that will pay you minimum starting out $50,000, and you can start increasing in the next 2-3 years. to $75,000, right? There is out there. The money's out there. But the thing is the ego. I don't want to leave Los Angeles. I heard it so many times. I don't want to leave Los Angeles. I'm Angelino. LA all the forever.
Well,
and that mindset, dude, like people get pissed off and they don't make that much money because
look, the jobs are out there. The jobs are out there.
Yeah. Now I only speak for
people don't want to, and I'm not talking about just veterans. People don't want to work that hard, man. Ask Sal any day how hard is it for him to find an employee, and he pays pretty freaking good money.
Yeah, he does.
To his employees, but nobody wants to do that job. Nobody wants to just jump into hard work, and that's the problem. You have all these employers out there throwing money left and right. I mean, I was in Indeed earlier today seeing what's out there in the market, and I saw just here in my area, 15-mile radius, I saw 141 jobs that paid over 100,000, right? Because that's where I'm looking at. And people don't want to take these jobs because, first of all, they don't want to go to school. They don't want to, invest their time in learning something that's very complex. They prefer to work hourly wage versus salary, right? Salary is a pain, man. I've worked salary where it was, 16-hour days sometimes, Saturday and Sunday, so people don't want to do that stuff. They don't understand to make 200,000, you need to be working 24/7.
I think a lot of it has to do too because when people get a job, they think this is it for me, right?
Yeah.
And I think
it doesn't work like that.
It's
like shopping insurance. You should be shopping jobs all the time.
Yeah. If you go to Amazon, right? Like Amazon provide all these jobs, like delivery jobs or working in the warehouse. Mm-hmm. That's a temp. Either get in a job, start working on getting a different position within the company, or find something else, that is gonna align to what you want to do.
But you got to keep jumping to grow. You can't stay stagnant. It's like talking about just specifically USA jobs, right? If you go into a job and it's a GS 7-9 or 9-11, right? Once you hit 11, that's it. You're not moving up unless you apply for a GS 12.
Right.
Once you hit if you're a 7-9, you won't hit 11 unless you apply for an 11, 12, or whatever it is, right? Whatever pay band schedule you're on. And people just get so comfortable and they stick to GS9 for 20 years. And I know because I know a lot of people where I work that are stuck in a GS position and they've been that position. They're now GS9 step 10.
So for those that
20 years later, what's that?
I said for those that listen, this is federal job.
Yeah, federal job.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, just people just feel comfortable in whatever they're doing, and don't complain about not having growth or the company not growing you. You gotta go and look for that. You need to go reach out to your boss and be like, I need a pay raise. If you think that you're doing a better job, you need to go and tell your boss, I want to be in this position, which is a higher position than what you are. How do I get there? If you want to stay in that company, that's fine. But you have to go and ask for, how do I get to the next step?
You got to want it. You definitely got to want it.
There's a caveat for the listeners. And I want to mention this because I know that there's individuals out there that like stagnation. They just, they're very simple people. They just like stability.
I like money.
Okay, if you want to stay at a and I'll say it, a mediocre job, a mediocre position, and that's you, just stay there. That's fine. But do not become the individuals that complain about taxes, about the corporate taxations, and don't be those individuals. If you want to be stagnant in your position, that's fine.
Yeah.
But shut the hell up about everyone else's taxes.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing anything about it. That doesn't work.
The one thing that I want to tell for veterans or service members that are ready getting out of the military, just like how much you put effort into the military, put effort to yourself.
Into yourself. Yes. Thank you. Because nobody will take care of you like you do.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say.
Seriously.
And I wish we could say salute to end
Yeah,
the
I'm drinking
conversation,
an
but
empty cup here.
Yeah.
Jose, drink all.
Don't lick the glass, bro. Don't lick the glass. Must have been good whiskey, huh?
But yeah, like literally, at the end of the day, that even though there's a lot of nonprofits out there, there's a lot of resources to helping veterans, getting out of the military. You still got to take accountability yourself. You really have to, take care. You have control of yourself. No one is going to help you.
Nobody.
If you go ask for help, because that's one of the biggest problems too. Like veterans don't like to ask for help. Ask for help.
A little bit of it. So a lot of like Pedro said, there's a lot of resources out there, supportive services for veterans, but all of these are hand-ups. They're not handouts. They're not to sustain you to your next paycheck. They're to help you to get to your next step.
Right.
Yeah.
So that
you know what? Find mentors, and you should have multiple. You should have an education mentor. I have one of those. You should have an employment mentor. You should have a life mentor. You should have a mentor for whatever you are trying to accomplish that is above you somehow in that field to make you or to guide you and give you that extra push to
especially in the veteran community.
Yeah.
Those that already made it, those that are in a position that they want to be, like in a career or in a business, starting their own business, whatever it is, go to them. They're more willing to help you.
There's nobody that will ever say, I don't want to be your mentor.
No.
I've never heard that.
And if they do, they do.
Somebody come and ask me.
You just don't see that you're willing to try.
Right.
If I just be my mentor, and they see that you're not willing to try.
Don't waste my time.
Don't waste their time.
Don't waste the mentor's time. If he gives you a task, follow through.
Do it.
If you don't understand it, ask questions.
Yeah.
Get help.
Well, we're top of the hour, brother.
Yeah, I said 30 minutes and then it happened to an hour again. So
good luck, dude.
Yeah, you did. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching the show. I really appreciate for those that have been commenting. We're getting better traction, guys. So I really enjoy this. The more traction, the more subscribers that we have for this show, the better we can put the word out and get more veterans to watch our show, so they can start learning what we're doing as the TentHut crew, and also provide them the resources for them, whatever they need within the California, state of California, and specifically in the Southern California, which is LA County, Orange County, and San Bernardino County, and Riverside County as well. So guys, please share this video. Subscribe to our show, and we have more things coming up in the future for TentHut to help veterans in many different ways. So guys, thank you so much. Again, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Till next time. All right, guys.
Cool.
Peace.